All right. All right, if you're just joining in, this is March Meditation Day 15, and I'm going to be joined by Jessica Graham in just a moment. And just waiting for Jessica to pop on here. Hey, everybody. There's Jessica. Cool. Let's see. Hey, Jessica, I don't see a way to bring you in. I don't know if your camera's on, or maybe you might have to turn the phone sideways or something like that. And we're just getting all set up here. We're going to do March Meditation Day 15 with Jessica Graham. And just waiting for Jessica to pop on. This is a whole new thing, this Facebook Live thing, which is really cool. And being able to bring in people from all over just takes a little bit of coordinating, because there's different phones, different computers, and you can do some things on the app on your phone that you can't do on the computer. So just stand by for a minute. Here we go. And great. Hey, Ashley. Thanks for, I think you've been on every day. Thank you so much for being here. Hey, it's Jessica. How are you?
Hello. Yeah, I was thinking I could do this on my computer, and so I was on my computer. So I'm gonna take a moment just to get this situated correctly.
Yeah, I was just saying it's interesting. There's a lot that you can do on the app on your phone that you can't do on your computer, and it kind of doesn't make sense.
I know,
to
right?
me.
Well, at least you
Yeah.
can go live on the computer now. Before you couldn't do that.
True. Yeah, so I got, the phone set up, and then I have the computer set up so I can see what the feed looks like, and but this is awesome. We got, a bunch of friends jumping on to watch us. Well, cool. Are you all set?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, cool. So, for those of you joining us live and watching on the replay, I'm Matthew Solomon, coach with MatthewSolomon.com, and this is day 15 of March Meditation. I wanted to share meditation and share how easy and accessible it is, and how it doesn't take a lot of time. I'm actually in between laundry right now, so this is great. I knew Jessica was going to be joining in, and so Jessica, I'm really excited to meet you. I know we met through Facebook through a mutual friend, and going through your page, like, we have a lot of stuff in common, and I don't know how we haven't met yet, but thank you so much for being here. And if you would just share a little bit about yourself and all the stuff that you do.
Thanks for having me, and it's great to meet you too. We live in the future now. It's so strange what we can what we can do and what constitutes meeting someone these days. It's so interesting.
Yeah.
So thanks for inviting me. So I live in Los Angeles, and I have a meditation collective here called the Eastside Mindfulness Collective, and I teach, as well as a bunch of other teachers we have on the roster. And then I've also started something called Wild Awakening, which is my personal guidance work. I work with individuals as well as couples, or any combination of relationship that you have. And my primary focus in my teaching these days is around integrating spiritual awakening into everyday life. Bringing meditation, mindfulness, and spirituality into your sex life. And then I also work a bit with creativity and sort of enlivening that part of self. And so that's what I'm doing. And I had a book that came out this fall called Good Sex: Getting Off Without Checking Out, which
Mm.
is exactly what the name says.
Yeah.
How to have sex without being
Great.
checked
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. And you're also an artist, right? You're filmmaker, actor. I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm multi-passionate, so I had a lot of fun writing my bio on Instagram because I like all the sort of contradictions in it. It says spiritual teacher, and the next thing it says is nude model. So I liked
Right.
I really enjoy modeling the idea that you can be all the things, that you don't have to get into one little box, and
Hmm.
certainly in the realms of spirituality, there can be a lot of that belief that, you know, if you're a spiritual person, then you certainly can't be a nude model. And so
Hmm.
I kind of like to question that and model a
Yeah.
different version. And then yeah, I'm a filmmaker and an actor, director, and yeah, so I like I said, lots of passions in my life.
Yeah. Our business cards are, we need bigger business cards
Exactly.
to house up. Yeah. And I love what you're saying. We'll get into the meditation in a minute. Just how, you know, like breaking down the boundaries. Like I don't like to use labels anymore, with anything really. And it just we're here and we create. And for me, meditation has opened me up to so much more. Even, I mean, this came out of meditation. Coaching came out of meditation. And I've always been an artist and a creator and that sort of thing. But to be able to, branch out into whatever I want, it's like anybody can do whatever you want. You just, get to be like open to it. Has that been your experience or?
Well, I will preface by saying that I am a white person,
Hmm.
and I've I've I was blessed with pretty good genes, so you know I've been naturally thin. I've
Hmm.
gotten attention for the way that I look. Again, I'm white, so it makes it really easy for me to talk about, oh, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
I just think it's important to say that. At the same time, I also do think, yes, you can do whatever you want. It's just some of us
Mm.
might have more layers to work through before we can get to a
Absolutely.
place where we can really sort of manifest a self that feels safe and able to do anything.
Hmm.
For me, definitely, the more that I let go of trying to quantify or control or um, label myself or my work, the more that opens up for me and the more fun that I
Yeah.
have.
Hmm.
And so I definitely look, a bunch of years ago, I quit every little job that I had, and I said I'm just going to do what I love. And I've gone broke multiple times,
Hmm.
but I've also written a book, gotten a feature film funded that's almost done,
Yeah.
done a bunch of other really cool, fun things, and ultimately the fear of going broke isn't it's really not all that bad when it comes down to it. It's like,
Huh.
it's like, all right, so I gotta tighten the what is it? Tighten the belt for a bit.
Yeah. Right. Uh-huh.
And I'm doing what I love. So to me,
Yeah.
that's worth more than stability. That's just me,
Hmm.
though. I know that's not the case for everyone, but that is for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I can relate to that. I mean, for me, it's like coming to the realization in the last couple months that, I mean, because I've been in entertainment my whole adult life, and there's always the struggle, and it's almost like a badge of courage that you're struggling, and a couple months ago I was like, you know what, I've kind of it works out. Things have always worked out, and there have been leaner times and fuller times, and just having that trust and that faith and that experience has actually opened things up. And so I totally relate, to what you're saying. And I appreciate you bringing in, all of the social awareness to the conversation. And, you know, yeah, I mean, it's important. Like just acknowledging it is amazing,
Mm.
you know? So thank you for that.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say it has a lot to do with social media. I've made a lot of online friends, and I've made younger online friends, and
Mm,
just like what we saw all the kids do yesterday,
yeah,
the younger generations are way more educated about privilege and about gender and about just all of these things. And I've been lucky enough to be exposed to that via the social media platforms and to be educated by these younger
yeah,
generations. And I feel very grateful for that because I think if I hadn't been, it would be very easy for me to just really skip over those important pieces. And I know for when writing my book, it was really important to me that it was inclusive. And
yeah,
I think it's way more inclusive because of the fact that I was open to learning from
hmm
younger folks online.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Awesome. Well, cool. So what's the meditation we're gonna do today?
So one of the things that comes up for people, especially new meditators, is they think they can't meditate because their mind is too noisy.
Yes.
I can't quiet
Yeah.
my mind, so I can't meditate. And so one of the first things I like to teach people is that you can actually meditate on your thoughts. You can observe the thinking process as your meditation. And so I'd
Mm,
like to share that with you. I'll
great.
start just a little bit of relaxation just to sort of settle in, and then we'll do a couple minutes of what I call focus on mind.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah, great.
All right. So for everyone watching, if you like, you can go ahead and settle into a comfortable posture. And this can be sitting, this can be lying down, this can be standing. Ideally, your spine is nice and long, but do what's best for your body. And then if you like, go ahead and close your eyes. Not required, but for some folks prefer that. And we'll start by just relaxing from our head to our toes, starting with the head and the face, relaxing the eyebrows and the space between the eyebrows, relaxing down into the eyes, all the little muscles around the eyes relaxing. Continuing down into the jaw, inviting the jaw to release and relax, and letting the mouth drop open just a little, really letting it go. And as you continue to relax down into the neck, over the shoulders, just keeping in mind that there's going to be parts of the body that don't relax. For example, I deal with chronic pain and muscle tension, and so there's almost always some places in my body that aren't going to release, and I don't battle with that. Instead, I just relax and soften around those areas of tension, and oftentimes that helps them soften as well. Softening down the shoulders and arms, into the hands, and start relaxing into the torso, the chest, the stomach. And another thing I like to share with folks when we're doing a relaxation is that it's very brave to relax. We tighten our bodies up for all kinds of reasons, and some of them uh, quite logical. The body wants to protect itself. And so as we start to learn to relax, we can run into some real tender spots. And so just being really patient and kind with yourself as you learn to relax, and keep in mind that it really is a brave thing to do. Relaxing the sides of the torso, relaxing the back, just using the muscles you need for sitting if you are sitting. And continuing to relax down into the hips and the seat and the pelvic area, releasing the pelvic floor. The pelvic floor muscle is the muscle you'd use to stop yourself from peeing midstream. So let that go. And then continue to relax down into your legs. And all the way to your feet. And so simply relaxing and focusing on relaxed sensations is a great meditation. Just as good as anything else you could do. And so that's always here for you, the option of relaxation and then focusing in on the sensations of relaxation. But if you like, we'll move on to exploring the mind a little bit. So to reiterate, we are not going to try to quiet the mind here. We're actually going to observe the process of the mind, making thought our object of focus. And so drawing your attention up towards the head, for most people, both visual and auditory thinking are happening in the head area. Could be somewhere else for you. But you can start by bringing your attention to the head, towards the middle and the back of the head for mental talk, and sort of towards the front of the head, around the eyes for mental image. And your thoughts might arise in one of these ways, both of these ways. They can kind of merge together. And so for now, for the purposes of this meditation, I just want you to observe visual and auditory thinking as mind. So you don't need to worry too much about differentiating between the two. And just start to observe this process of thinking. If there are no thoughts, then just hang out with a quiet mind. But notice there might be thoughts about how there are no thoughts. So that would be thinking. And we're not trying to get rid of it, we're just observing it. Noticing it come and go. And actually getting curious about the activity of the mind. And for some folks, it's helpful to use a label here. And you can just label mind or thought whenever you notice thinking occurring. This labeling is not to get rid of the thinking. It's just to acknowledge it, to facilitate mindfulness. You may also find that using a label just makes things too convoluted, seeing as a label is also a thought. So you play around and decide what works for you. It might be different on a different day. Keeping the face relaxed as you observe the arising and passing of thought. So if you're noticing a lot of mental talk, can get really interested in the volume, the pitch, the pace. I like to say the texture of the talk. And if you're noticing a lot of mental image, just getting really interested in how these images bubble up, spread out, merge, vanish. You might be seeing really crystal clear images like a photograph or a film, or you might just be noticing little wispy images that you can't even really make out. And for the purposes of this exercise, all thought is just thought. It doesn't matter if it seems important or mundane. It doesn't matter if it's negative or positive thinking. It's all just thought. You're not putting any special value on one thought or another. Just observing the process, witnessing this activity of thinking. And when you find yourself really pulled into the thoughts, taking them personally, getting involved, see if you can just step back out to a broader perspective where you're witnessing. And what this begins to lead to is this insight that you are not your mind. You're not the witness either. But for now, hanging out with the witness and observing this activity is already pretty radical. So we start with that, allowing this insight of, I am not my mind, to start to integrate into our being as we observe the coming and the going of this phenomena, this activity. These small threads in a much, 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 much vaster activity. Good. And now returning to the body for just a moment, I want you to just find a place that feels good in your body. Find a place that feels grounded or pleasurable or relaxed. And take just this last moment to be with that good sensation in your body. This is a resource in your own body. A place that feels good, that feels safe. Letting go of attention on thinking, putting all that attention on this pleasant place in the body, even if it's just your little pinky finger. And now I just want you to think of one or two things that feel really good to think about. So it could be anything from a baby that you know that's really cute, or a pet, or a place in nature, or anything that just feels good to think about. And I just want you to flood the mind with images and words, or one or the other, in regard to this positive thing. So for me, it's puppies and kittens. So I just think of puppies and kittens and I get a big smile on my face and I feel good. And then from here, you can begin to let that go. And as you're ready, start to blink your eyes open, coming back to the room you're in. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
My pleasure.
That was awesome. Yeah. That's so great. I love I was even I love the curiosity, the um, separating from our thoughts because we're not our thoughts, we have thoughts, and then getting, curious about, it's like, just observing them, being the observer is something I was actually, I coach a group program, so that was something I was working with the group last night, is just being curious about, where's this coming from, and what if something better came along, and all of that. Just really great to um, have that muscle and that practice and be able to do that.
Yeah, it's
So thank.
yeah, it's a surefire way to start to lessen suffering
Hmm.
because almost all of our suffering is happening as a result of the mind. And if you can start to observe it in this way and get a little space and get curious, because curiosity um, brings in a really kind of relaxed acceptance. And so when we're
Hmm.
relaxed and we're
Yeah.
curious and we're accepting, we're much less likely to get stuck in a negative thought pattern that's telling us how bad we are, or how bad someone else is, or how we messed this up or that up.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to just kind of watch it, watch the activity and be like, okay, well, I can choose not to get on that train.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Cheryl Harris is saying it's hard to relax when we are purposely trying to force the thoughts away.
So this is
Yeah.
why I say many times over, even in a short meditation like this, that you do not need to quiet your thoughts. You do not need to force them away. And I understand the tendency, because there's a lot of myths around meditation that it means like you're sitting in like, a perfect full lotus position, and there's incense
Hmm.
burning and there's candles and it's perfect silence and your mind is completely still and your body is in a space of bliss. And that's not most of the time when you meditate. A lot of the time when you
Yeah.
meditate, even if you've been doing it for years, you're sitting there and the mind is jumping around about this or that, and the body is hurting here or there. And it's about, again, about getting curious and accepting and realizing that's just one part of experience. And so with this technique, we are never trying to force any thoughts away. In fact, nothing I teach is ever about forcing thoughts away. And so, Cheryl, for you, this technique would probably be helpful at some point, but it also, if you're finding that doing a technique like this is just making you feel stressed out, well, then you don't do it. You do something else. But I do think if you just adjust that perspective on thoughts being bad and something to force away or get rid of, you may find that that actually it's quite easy to sit and relax even when thoughts are going.
Yeah. 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 Sometimes I'll be meditating and something will come up, and like I'll start to get into it for a minute, and then I'll in my mind I'll be like, well, that's interesting, and it like that's enough of a break to give me space.
Yeah.
It's like, huh, I wonder what that's all about. And even like bringing that humor to it, or exaggerating the curiosity, it just kind of it gives space.
Absolutely. We
Yeah.
take we
Yeah.
take it all so seriously, and
Yeah.
it's just that little like like that it just changes everything. This is
Hmm.
why like I don't really do it on purpose, but when I teach, I end up kind of doing a little bit of a comedy show at times because it's just not so serious.
Yeah.
It's not. And I understand why it feels that way. And by it, I mean all of it. It's
Yeah.
we're in an
Yeah.
intense time, and I understand
Hmm.
that. But also, we are tiny, little, teeny tiny specks on another teeny tiny speck that's in the midst of a huge, vast, possibly never ending, mysterious, who knows what the heck it is.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's
Yeah.
just not that serious.
Yeah. 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 Awesome. Well, cool. How can I'll put all the information on the post, but how can people reach you?
Yeah, so people can find me at yourwildawakening.com. And that's my website where you can get information about my classes, about my workshops when I update my calendar, which I need to do. Um, And you can also get a link to order my book, Good Sex, there as well.
Yeah.
And you'll also be able to link up to my social media through that site. I'm very active on Instagram and Facebook.
Cool.
And so if you want to check me out in either of those places, my Instagram handle is Jessica Clark Graham. And then my Facebook, my personal Facebook page, where I do a lot of live streams and stuff, is it's /Graham Jessica. So it's pretty easy to find. And yeah, and feel free to reach out. Feel free to email. There's plenty of ways to get in touch with me online, and I'm always happy to hear from folks and answer questions if I can.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you again so much. And I know we're on opposite sides of LA. Hopefully we'll, meet in person.
I hope
someday.
so. Yeah, we should definitely get that to happen. And thanks for having me. What a pleasure. What a great way to start my Thursday.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, thank you very much, Jessica, and have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.